Welcome, Miller's Monsters, and I want to tell you about the Pungo Witch. And this is the true, not so true story of Grace Shepherd, who was tried as a witch, or not tried as a witch. There's proof either way, really. If you, the folklore is what tells you that she was tried as a witch. If you look at the history and the time that this happened, you want to see the Looney, you know? There you go, have at it. Would tell you that this, being tried as a witch and the ducking of a witch, as they called it, was not prevalent at the time. So either way, here's the story. What was true is Grace was a beautiful woman. Damn, you ate all that. And the women were very jealous of her. She was just stunning, and she fell in love with a man. They got married, and they had 50 acres of land. And the neighbors started accusing her of being a witch. Well, what she did for a living is she was a midwife, and she grew herbs to help heal people and animals. And she was particularly known for her love of animals. She couldn't have been bad if she loves animals. Anyways, I don't know why back in those times that anyone would want to practice herbal medicine. More stories that I read is, the women getting accused as witches were, they were dabbling in the herbal medicine business. Anyways, so her husband never held a position of public trust, and Grace wore pants instead of dressing, so they weren't conformists. So this was another thing, that led to the town being against them a little bit. And so she was brought up on, she was accused of being a witch. You lost the scroll. For possessing supernatural powers, including turning into a black cat and supposedly killing a farm animal. And then they brought their suit of defamation against them, which they lost and had to pay the court cost, but nothing happened with that. And when James died, she didn't remarry, which was common for widows to do at the time. And then they were involved. She was involved with this dispute with her neighbors, Luke and Elizabeth Hill, and Grace sued the couple, claimed that Elizabeth had beaten her, and was awarded financial damages of 20 shillings. Grace was never able to collect on that, so they decided to countersue her as being a witch. And this led down this process to where they went out and they said they were going to duck her, or ducking the witch. And they ducked her once, and she floated, of course, which is not a good sign. But she was able to untie her ropes and swim to the surface. And it's interesting because not a lot of people were swimmers back then, but she grew up near water. So naturally she would have learned to swim, so that freaked them out even more. They decided to duck her again, and again she floated. So she was then going to be put on trial as a witch. Well, this is where it gets a little cloudy, because you don't know if the trial happened or not, but what we do know, or think we know, is she ended up having to spend 8 years in jail. After getting out of the jail, she was allowed to go back to her land. It wasn't taken away from her, which was commonly done if somebody was convicted of witchcraft and there was no one else in the family to claim it. So she was able to do that. And so there is the legacy of all this is there's children's stories. There was a movie in 2020. Grace's legacy lives on in Virginia Beach from the statue, okay, of her, which you're taking a look at. And there is also a museum that I don't know where it's at. I couldn't figure that out. But anyways, on July 10th, 2016, she was exonerated on the charges of witchcraft, and that was on her 300th anniversary of her ducking. Sorry. So, a wonderful story, a very good story, but kind of muddled between folklore and the lack of documentation.